and welcome to a new episode or part of What If Deku was transported to Danmachi. After he gets his his stats checked by Loki, he will be upgraded to a level 2 adventurer. And that day, Ainz and Deku go on a shopping excursion to get some nice or light armor for Deku and equipment. He gets a full armor set, it covers his legs, his stomach, his back, and his chest. His arms as well. But he doesn't get anything to cover his head besides the My Hero Academia thing around his neck that you always see him with, that resembles the All Might smile. So, after they get some armor for him, he decides that in this world, you have to kill things. You have to kill monsters. He realizes that, and he needs a more lethal way of using his strength. So he decides to get a short sword, like one of those gladiator short swords. I forgot what they are called. So he gets one of those. And it has a nice weight to it. He buys that, and to repay Ainz for paying for his stuff, they go down to the dungeon and start leveling up. And what I mean by leveling up is basically just leveling down, I guess. Technically, I don't know. They just start by level 1 to see where his strength lies. So they go from level 1 to level 2 to level 5 to level 7. And when they eventually get to level 10, they come into a problem. There is a bigger monster, you could say, and it is a dragon, as the same dragon that Bell used his Argonaut thing, his hero's last resort thing. I forgot how to... His last resort thing. So, what they do is Deku remembers that Loki told him about the spell creation and mana manipulation. So he thinks of that concept while he's trying to dodge the flames of a dragon inside the dungeon. So he thinks of All Might. And he thinks of the concepts of his world and this world, chanting and stuff. So he thinks of something in his head. And he comes up with a chant, I guess you could call it. But honestly, I'll just show you what the thing is, basically. So he uses the first one on this list, which is Air Pressured Punch of the Almighty Pulverizer. But the in quotation marks is what he shouts out as he's punching, using pressurized air to blast a hole through the dragon's throat, killing it, and the magic stone has been dropped. So Eyes is very impressed about his power and is wondering what that spell was. So he explains that he is using his magic skills, you could say, his magic spells. He can create spells and manipulate mana, which is magic. So he created his own spell, and he calls it Almighty Pulverizer, which is basically an air-pressured punch, like what you see when All Might uses his One for All and stuff. So they go down to the 12th, the 12th level of the dungeon, and they are met with, I'm not sure exactly what type of monsters are in the 12th or something, but let's just say that there's the Bell Bunnies and the Hellhounds. The one that Bel Carnell and his group go up against and get overrun by. And Deku gets scratched a few times, gets an axe to the side, to his left side of his stomach, and he's thinking in his head, oh shit, I'm going to bleed out, like overreacting and stuff. So he pulls the axe out, and he thinks and thinks. So he uses One for All to jump and jump to a wall, like the top of the wall right next to the roof, and Eyes sees him bring his arm back for a punch, because Deku explained his abilities and she knows what's going to happen. So she moves out the way, and Deku delivers a 100% smash, destroying every Hellhound and every Bell Bunny with those axes, and completely decimates every monster there. So they're all alone with a bunch of monster crystals. So he's in immense pain and is thinking he wishes that Recovery Girl was here. So he thinks and thinks, and he's a dumbass because he knows that there are recovery magic. There's recovery magic in this world. He asks Ainz if she has any healing magic, and she says no, and he's like, darn it. Then he realizes that he's a dumbass for thinking that he doesn't have any magic spells. So he creates something using Recovery Girl's title and aspect. So he comes up with a youthful kiss of recovery, grandmother's recovery, grandmother of recovery, and that's what it's called. And he heals his axe wound to the side of his stomach and repairs most of the bones that were broken. Now it's like slightly broken and fractured, and he still has a big cut on his side. So he's like run out of magic for now because he decimated his arm, and most of the bruised and torn tendons in his arms are completely healed. It's just his bones have to get healed. So he takes out a bunch of bandages and bandages himself up, and takes out some cloth that he has and wraps it around like a... When your arm is broken and you put it in that little sling around your body. Yeah, he does it like that, and they decide that it would be a good idea to go up, because he got hurt, I guess. But to Deku's thinking, he's like, nah, we can go down a bit more. No, we can go down a bit more, he said. And Ainz, to her dismay, she agrees and is more put in a protective stance towards Deku, just to make sure. So they're going down to the 16th, and they come across a nice little resting place, not like a safe zone or something, but a nice resting place. So they stay there for about 2 hours, so Deku can replenish his magic a bit. So, I forgot what level they are on. Jeez, okay, so let's just say that they're on the 15th. So, they come across flippity flack. So once Deku got his magic back, he uses grandmother of recovery again, and heals his bones and heals the small gash in his side. So he unbandages himself, because he's all healed now and slightly worn from healing himself. So what he does is they carry on. Now they are in the 16th level, and Deku is struggling a bit more than usual. And he comes up with a successful endeavor of Hellblaze. So basically, if you don't know what endeavor means, his name is to try hard to, or attempt a goal or something like that. It's like, so successfully in a successful endeavor. Also being the name of the number 2 hero, now number 1 if you haven't seen season 4. And uses his hellfire and turns it to Hellblaze, so it's not like copyright jokes. So he uses that on a minotaur and slashes its throat open, like gory stuff. And the minotaur disappears. Now 3 minotaurs are right behind it, and all he could think about is a strong, like, it reminds him of being surrounded, or he thinks of Koda when he's being attacked by Muscular, a small boy looking up at 3 giant things trying to kill him, basically like Koda that was being attacked by one giant man of muscular. So he thinks back to that moment, and he thinks of his quirk. So he thinks of a spell, creating new spells on his way down. As usual, he comes up with thermal fluctuation on the 14th floor, because there were some salamanders and frost golems. I'm just making that shit up, but yeah. So they had to withstand some thermal fluctuation and came up with the bottom ones underneath Koda's spell, basically typhoon and rain storm bullets. So just to clarify that. So while he's fighting these 3 minotaurs, he thinks of a spell to do. He's like, Koda, what should I do? Like he's legit just jumping from wall to wall, trying not to be punched in the face by a giant minotaur fist. And he thinks of something. Koda's feud with Hiro sent him in a storm of hatred, sadness, and revenge. And then he shouts out, rainstorm bullets, and just completely throws holes into all 3 of the minotaurs. And he's completely finished. As you can see that there's a secondary thing to it called Typhoon. And the freezing ice cold hatred of hell flames, you know, Todoroki and his hatred towards his father and his rebellious phase. So basically using that as a thing, using him as a phrase, and a phrase of power, and uses ice barrage and frozen lands. That is going to come up in the next video. And Typhoon is going to also be in the next video. Thank you for bearing with me informing you. So, once he's done with collecting the magic stones, they decide that they're tired and it's like nearing 5 o'clock in the morning already. So they decide to go up back to the surface. And they encounter Bell on a lower floor. I'm not sure which floor he was on when he's fighting the Minotaur. The red Minotaur that was trained by Otter. I forgot how to actually say his name, but maybe. So, they see Bet and Gareth there as well. Like, they walk up to him and is like, what the hell's going on? Why aren't you doing anything? It's like... Bet just says that Gareth is stopping me from beating that Minotaur up for that little kid. That weakling. So, he's like... Well, Deku is like, don't call him a weakling. Everyone used to be a weakling, including me. And I might be strong now, but I was not always strong. And Bet's like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? And Deku's like, well, this is his fight. Let's just say that. So, Gareth, knowing that Deku is understanding and knows a bit of his past, is happy and smiling that he is passing wisdom down to Bet, the werewolf guy. So, Bell beats the Minotaur, and they check his stats. He is S rank. Like, his stats are all on S rank and stuff, like the original anime. And after that, they're like, wow, he's developing amazingly, like, very fast. And Ainz is like, aw, he's such a cute little progressor. And in this, what if Bell is basically gonna be the child of Deku and Ainz, but that's gonna be later when he's going to be trained by them. So everything happens, and Deku, Bell, Ainz, Gareth, and Bet all go down and celebrate. Bet gets drunk and insults Bell, while Bell is like right next to him. It's not like the one where it was after the first Minotaur attack where he was insulting him and he didn't know he was actually there. It's like when they're all together and stuff. So he's doing that, and Deku just neck chops him and he's knocked out on the floor. And it's like, I'm sorry for his behavior, Bell. He's a dumbass. So I'm sorry about swearing, I guess. But after that night, everything's cool. And he goes back to the low-key Familia mansion, and he gets his stats upgraded. Well, updated. And while they are before he got his stats updated, Bell asked Deku and Ainz if he can be trained. And then everything happened, he gets his stats updated. And that's that. That is going to be it for this video.